If you're wanting to start living a life that feels aligned to you, then you're going to have to start speaking life into yourself and into the life that you are wanting to create. In today's video, we're going to be discussing how your words affect the results that you're getting in the life that you're wanting, and how your perspective can really shift things as well. And I'm going to give you a few helpful tips on how you can start speaking life into yourself. Hi, my name is Mayra. If you're new here, I help women start living their lives for themselves again. On this channel, we discuss topics on self-discovery, healing the feminine, and becoming the best version of ourselves. So if that's something that you're interested in, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. And let's get on to the video. I just want to start by saying words are very powerful in everyday life. I don't think people realize how much the words that they use have an impact on the life that they are wanting to create. And often we sabotage what it is that we're wanting by how we're speaking to ourselves, by how we're speaking about the topic, and what we say is and isn't possible, because the mind is always listening. So whatever you tell it, it's going to believe. Even if you're just thinking it and not necessarily saying it out loud, the brain doesn't know the difference. Think of the brain and the mind as your very own hype man, where it's going to affirm whatever it is that you're telling it, and it's going to look for that evidence. And if you are constantly thinking negatively about what it is that you're wanting, then the perspective that it's going to bring up to you, all the memories that it's going to bring up to you, are going to be negative. And when you're seeing something as negative, then the brain is going to try to convince you to not even try. It's going to say, why are we doing this? Like, no, like what's the point of this? We've tried this before. Maybe this like little memory that I'm bringing up isn't necessarily the exact same thing, but like look at when you try to change, how much you suffer and how hard it was and how you cried and whatever, like let's just not try it. We're comfortable here. Versus if you tell it, brain, mind, I've decided that this is something that I want to do, and I know that it is possible for me, and I'm going to make it happen for me. Then the mind is going to focus on all the ways that it can make this possible for you. It's going to look for different opportunities. Its focus is on supporting you towards that goal versus supporting you to not do what it is that you're wanting to do. So whatever it is that you focus on, whatever it is that you tell yourself about the situation, your mind is going to agree with you. So that's why you really have to be careful when you are speaking to yourself and you're speaking about the things that you're wanting to do. Because if you are somebody that constantly looks at things as the glass half empty, constantly worrying, having anxiety about what it is that you're trying to create, feeling a sense of lack because you don't have it yet, then the mind isn't going to be very helpful in creating that life that you are wanting, because you've given it a job and its sole focus is on the worrying, the negative thoughts, all the ways in which it can prove to you that this is not possible for you. And if you are somebody who does constantly worry and is constantly in a state of anxiety, it may really feel impossible for you to create this life that you're wanting, because like I mentioned, your mind will try to find ways that it can relate to something. So if you've never experienced this before, it may be really hard for you to see it even as a possibility. But that inkling that you want it, that whisper that you hear, or that random thought that comes up of like, hey, I want to write a book, and that thought has never come up for you before, and you don't even write or read or anything, but the thought just randomly come up. All of those little whispers, all of those little signs are just showing you what your soul is craving, what is aligned for you, like who you really are authentically before everybody else's expectations and what's cool and what's in, took over. It's that thing that you can't shake off. Or when you look at somebody's life and you're like, wow, it would be really cool to do that as a job, or to live my life in that way, or to have that quality about myself. These are all things that are already within you that are just poking their head out and showing interest in them. It's just you may not recognize that within yourself yet because you haven't taken the time to get to know yourself, or you feel so far removed from who you really are at your core, what it is that you're wanting in life. So following these little cues, these little helpful nudges can help you start living a more aligned life. And you can start taking steps toward creating that more aligned life. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to how you're speaking about those different situations and your perspective on them. It's all about your mindset, about how it is that you are looking at life. It's the lens that you're viewing life through. There's a quote from a book, I'm not going to quote it exactly, but it's from Happy Pocket Full of Money, that talks about owning the circumstances that you're in and knowing that you created those circumstances for you. So if you are unhappy with where you are in life or what your life is currently looking like, taking accountability for that and realizing like, okay, I created this, but just the same as you created that, you can change and create new circumstances for you. It's a choice. You have to choose to want differently for yourself. And that means in the way of thinking, because if you're somebody that's constantly worrying or looking at all the ways that things could possibly go wrong, you also have to be fair and think of all the ways that things could go right, because you really don't know what's going to happen. Just because something may have happened a certain way in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen that exact same way in the future. You have to appreciate past experiences for what they are, past experiences, and be able to let them go and try again anew. And if anyone knows anything about worrying, it's me. I used to be a worry wart, okay? I would always worry about things, always think of the worst possible thing that could happen, because in my mind, I was trying to prepare myself for the worst possible situation. So what did that do for me? It created so much stress in my body. My nervous system was dysregulated. I was constantly anxious. I was constantly unhappy. I was super jaded in life because the way that I was looking at my life was with the cup half empty. I remember there was a time in my life where when I was setting my new intentions for the new year, I wanted to be more at peace and to feel calm within myself and have a sense of trust that everything was going to work out. And at the time when I was writing this, that seemed so impossible for me because I was so used to looking at my life and looking at things around me from a negative perspective. And I was so used to worrying all of the time. It was just a habit that I had created. And so my mind and the way of thinking about things also was like a habit as well of worrying. I'm like, how am I going to make this happen? Like, this isn't possible for me. Like, if my way of thinking is to worry and to be anxious, then how am I going to ever be able to come from a place of trust that everything is going to work out? That to me felt impossible because I was looking at my current circumstances. And one thing that I realized about myself was how much I was trying to control in my life because there were so many things on the outside that I couldn't control. So worrying for me was a way for me to be able to plan in case anything bad happened. So that's when I decided, like, I have to make a choice. I also have to plan in case something good happens and focus on that and give my energy to that versus the other thing, because worrying is really a waste of time. If you think about it, it's really dysregulating. It puts you in a bad mood. It gives you so much anxiety. Nothing really good comes out of it. I mean, yeah, you could plan in case something bad were to happen, but it's like if you're not able to do something about it right then, which usually you worry about something that's happening in the future, there's really no point to it. So you're wasting all this time and energy thinking about something that could possibly go wrong, but it could also possibly go right. And I can think of an instance where I was on my debt payoff journey and I had just paid off my car and a few other things, and I was trying to save some money. And I remember that I had some unexpected car repairs that came up. So I got really upset about that because I was like, oh my God, I literally just paid all this stuff off. Now I have another thing that I have to pay for. And also I needed to get a new laptop because my laptop had just, it wasn't working anymore. So So I was like, now I need to get a new laptop. And I just remember just being so upset. And now I was like, I just paid all of this stuff off. Now I feel like my money is having to go towards something again rather than towards savings, right? So I was so upset about it. I was constantly worrying about it, frustrated about it, angry about it, irritated by it, just all of these negative thoughts. So that whole time that I was paying just negative, right? And guess what happened? I paid it off. But I just had such a negative outlook throughout the entire time, okay? So that's a memory that I keep in my mind whenever I start to worry about something, because it was such wasted energy on something so pointless that got done anyway. I remind myself whenever I am worried about something or have negative thoughts about something working out, I think about that memory, because I think about how upset and worried I was, and everything worked out fine. And how many times do we do that? We worry about something, we're so focused on what could possibly go wrong, and then it ends up being fine. You know, it's like, it's so much wasted energy. Like, why are we putting ourselves through that? So I want you to think of a time in where you maybe were worried about something and it ended up working out just fine. I want you to think about that whenever you start having these negative thoughts or you start worrying about something, and just remember that just as much as something could go wrong, it could also go right, and to focus on things being right and speaking life into yourself, right? That was the whole point of this whole video, was speaking life into yourself, into what it is that you want, into what it is that you are wanting to create, because the mind is going to focus on whatever it is that you are telling it to focus on. So instead of having a glass half empty point of view, it's so much more supportive to look at the glass half full, because if you're looking at what's possible, then you're going to try, versus if you're looking at what's not possible or worrying about what's possible, your mind is going to convince you that it's not, because you've already convinced yourself, you've convinced your mind that it's not. So if you think about what is possible, you can really create whatever life it is that you are wanting to create, because you're focusing on what good could come of something, how you can make something possible. If something were to go wrong, if you're looking at the glass half full, then you're like, okay, what could I do about this? What's a workaround about this? You're gonna figure it out along the way. So not only speaking life and looking at the glass half full into what it is you're trying to create, but also yourself, and speaking to yourself in a way that speaks life into yourself. There's no point in putting yourself down and beating yourself up for something. If you're wanting to create a life that is full of alignment, then you have to feel worthy of creating that life. And if you're constantly berating yourself and talking down to yourself, your self-esteem, your self-worth isn't going to be the best. Focus on how you want to feel when you are creating this life, and start trying to create that feeling in your life right now, because the brain likes positive reinforcement. That's how it likes to feel. It likes to feel good. So if you can find ways in where you can start just trying to be more positive in your daily life, then everything around will fall into place, and the next thing you know, you'll be living the life that you've always wanted to live. So how do you start speaking life into yourself and creating the life that you've always wanted? The first thing you can do is affirmations. I know there's a lot of conflicting thoughts on affirmations. For me, they have helped significantly, and this is coming from someone who used to be very pessimistic. Like, I'm a Virgo sun, I'm a Virgo moon, I'm constantly looking and analyzing things and what, how things could be better or whatever. So coming from somebody who was extremely self-critical and who had a really pessimistic view of the world, I was able to change my mindset and my thinking patterns by using affirmations. And there's so many ways that you can use these. There's a ton of videos on YouTube. You don't even have to repeat the affirmations. You can just listen to them. The best time to do them, if you really want to absorb them, is in the morning, like really close to when you wake up, or as you're falling asleep, because your subconscious is the most awake at that time, so it's able to absorb those words a lot easier. But they're beneficial any time of the day. Whatever it is that you're wanting to create in your life, I bet you there's a YouTube video with affirmations on it. You can also create your own affirmations if you want to make it a little bit more personalized, and you can read that list in the mornings or whenever you have a chance, or you can record yourself reading them and then listen to it whenever it is that you want, and your brain is just absorbing them. You can repeat them if you want, but really if you just listen to them over time, you'll notice that you're saying the affirmations that you've been hearing without realizing it. For example, I listened to one by Abraham Hicks, everything is always working out for me. Whenever I'm stressed, whenever I'm worried, whenever I'm not sure about how something is going to happen, I say those affirmations, and they're so ingrained in me. I've been listening to the same video for years. Like, I've contributed to however many views she has, I don't even know. Basically every day I listen to this affirmation video. And I do want to say something, because this thought just came up. I don't believe in toxic positivity. If you are genuinely feeling something and it's really bothering you, feel that. What you resist persists, and then it grows. So if you're trying to push away a thought or a feeling and it keeps coming up, then sit with that. Sit with it. Feel it. Let it run its course. And then after that, you can start to think more positively. I don't want you to think that pushing your feelings away, like how you're really feeling, is good, because it's not. Feelings are there to tell you something. So if it's really affecting you, feel into that, because sometimes you do really need to feel through something and let it run its course, and then you can go back into that positive thinking. I just wanted to say that, because I don't want you guys to think that feeling what you're feeling is bad. It's more of the lens that you view at life. You want the lens that you view life to be glass half full rather than half empty. At least, the positive thinking higher than the negative, so that's just a thought that came up. If you're really having a hard time with affirmations, kind of one of the things that people say is like, I don't believe any of this, you can use words like, I am learning every day to love myself. I am learning every day to speak kindly to myself. I am choosing to say nice things to myself and about myself. Every day I am trying to get better at fill in the blank. Number 2 is mirror work. This could be hard if you are somebody that is used to picking yourself apart or just speaking really negatively about yourself. We're not going to do that anymore, okay? That time is over and done with. Whenever you look in the mirror, you're going to say something positive about yourself. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about your appearance or a quality about yourself. It could just be a good job. Good job today. Good job doing that thing. I often, after I do something that I really didn't want to do, clean the bathroom. I'll literally look in the mirror and I'll say, good job cleaning the bathroom today. I know you didn't want to do it. Thank you so much for doing that, because I love my home. I love taking care of my home. That's an affirmation, right? I like having a clean home. So an affirmation, going back to the affirmation thing, is I affirm the thinking that I want. Because in the past, when I was doing things that I didn't want to do, I was literally complaining the entire time. I don't want to do this. This sucks. I don't want to do this. Like, why do I have to do this? Do you think that was an enjoyable experience for me? No, I was so irritated that I was having to do something. Now when I'm doing something that I don't want to do, I tell myself however it is that I'm wanting to think about that specific thing. So cleaning the bathroom, do I want to do that? Not necessarily, but I tell myself I love having a clean bathroom. A clean bathroom feels luxurious to me. I like taking care of my things. I love taking care of my home. I'm somebody who takes the time to take care of my life and my things around me. Just whatever to help support myself during that hard thing that I'm doing. You can also, with the mirror work, do affirmations in the mirror. And this is after, maybe if you start off by saying, the good job. If that's all you can do in the beginning, that's okay. Everybody starts somewhere, but if you can't say something nice, you're not going to say anything at all. But once you progress past that, like the good job, then you can start saying positive things about yourself or what it is that you're working on. So for example, maybe you're not able to say that I love how my body looks, right? You know, look at your body and tell your heart, thank you for beating. Thank you for keeping me alive today, body. Thank you, lungs, for allowing me to breathe. Thank you, eyes, for allowing me to see. I'm grateful that my body functions properly. I'm grateful to be able to walk, you know, whatever. Just something positive that you're able to say to yourself in the mirror. And slowly you progress to the point where you're able to say, I love you. I'm so proud of you. You're such an amazing person. And to the I am, you know, I am an amazing person. I am so smart. I am so disciplined. Whatever it is that you need to hear, you can start doing that in steps. You can slowly start to progress until you get to that point and you feel comfortable and confident in doing that and expressing those words that are uplifting and speaking life to yourself, and give yourself the validation that you need. And this is how you stop seeking external validation and have that internal validation, because you are uplifting yourself and speaking life into yourself. And number 3, let go of perfection. As you are trying to create this life that you are wanting, and you're wanting to learn how to have a more positive mindset and just speak life into yourself again, there are going to be times where you maybe didn't do as well as you would have liked to, or maybe you reverted to an old pattern of thinking. That's okay. Growth is not linear. Show yourself grace. Stop beating yourself up. Sometimes we have bad days. That's completely normal. You know, it's just, okay, maybe you didn't do it that, you know, today, tomorrow we'll try again, or in the next hour we'll try again, because this is a practice. And just like I had mentioned before, I don't believe in toxic positivity. So if something has happened that, you know, you really need to feel into that. It's okay if you don't have it in you to think positively one day, but the one thing you can do is to show yourself grace and show yourself compassion. It's okay. We'll try again tomorrow, and that's it. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Feel what it is that you need to feel. Have your bad day, whatever. Just let go of that perfection, always feeling like you have to do things right, because you're human and you're gonna make mistakes, and that's completely okay. And if you are looking to make a mindset shift, you're wanting to start looking at the glass half full, you're wanting to start speaking life into yourself again, you are ready to start creating that life that you've always wanted, the one that feels most aligned and authentic to you, and you feel like you just need support in the process of it, I'll link my discovery form link down below so we can discuss how I can best support you through this process. I also have a free workbook that you can download on how you can start living your life more authentically and for yourself. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure to give the video a like and share it with anyone that you think would benefit from this conversation. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel. You can also check out this video right here while you're waiting on the next post. And until then, I will see you guys in my next video.